It's amazing to be back. I hope everyone is having an amazing start to your morning and kind of, I guess, finish to your week. Just want to make sure I can hear myself, because if I can't, then that's a problem. Yep, I can hear myself. Yeah, but I hope everyone's having a great start to your week. Definitely you know, the rest from yesterday was needed, but as you can see, yesterday pretty much, didn't really do much. Um, I'm thankful to be able to have the opportunity to stream again. Uh, it's just thankful for that. Thanking God that I've been able to get to this point, because for me, trading was always something that it showed me a lot about myself, and I'm just very thankful that I'm able to do this and get to the point where I'm at right now. So let's kind of get into today and kind of what we're looking for. Again, we're looking for higher prices. I'm looking for these equal highs, or specifically this one to this one, to get ran out. Now, again, on the hourly chart, we'll zoom in a little bit closer. This hourly order block, as well as this inverse fair value gap here, I'm expecting price to hold that and trade higher. We got that with the 8:30 NFP news release. So that is what's key there for me, and we should be expecting higher prices. We did have SMT from yesterday, even though yesterday was, as you can see, clearly heavily manipulated and chopped pretty much sideways. We didn't do anything. So, but we did have SMT there. So I am looking at that in terms of strength, especially more strength in NQ, and I'll be looking for higher prices to end up trading higher. So these are the key levels that I have here. This is what's important to me. I have the hourly order block, which I showed on the other chart, and then the hourly inverse fair value gap. I'll show it again just so we know. So here's the inverse fair value gap. That's right here. I'll zoom in on this chart so everyone can kind of see what I'm looking at. So again, I'm not looking for any sell side. I'm not looking at any sells today. It's only going to be buying for me. This inverse fair value gap specifically, and I looked at this order block before the news had even happened. Pretty much this was the one I was keying up. Why? Because it also, I'll go to this chart, overlapped with this daily imbalance on the volume imbalance. So that overlapped with that, so it gave me confidence that I would like to see this one hold specifically because of where it was. And as of right now, we were getting that type of movement away. Now things can change, but again, I'm looking for higher prices. I'm not necessarily looking for shorts. I don't believe that we come all the way down here to come all the way up here just to come all the way back down here. If we're coming back up here, I believe we're coming back up here for a reason, to take out definitely this high from last week on the 31st, and then definitely these. I would like to see those get hit today, or at least start to push towards them. So that's kind of like what I'm looking at today. This is the data high. This is the data low. We also had all of this liquidity here that we came down and took. And right now we're looking pretty bullish. So I'm looking for these highs to specifically get taken. The Friday, January 31st, 2025, and then the December 25th, 2024 high. That's where I'm targeting. That's what I'm looking for today. Again, very quick, very easy. Trying to determine bias shouldn't take that long. If you're having a hard time just trying to figure out where the bias is, it's probably not it's not clear enough for you to read it. So it should take, 5 minutes or less. If you can't figure out where it is, it's probably a day. Either it's very undecided right then and there, so you need a little bit more data or a little bit more of the chart to start printing out. But then also, if you don't know where it is, then as my mentor had taught me, then you are the liquidity. So you have to have an idea or some type of narrative or framework that gives you the opportunity to put on a trade. You can't just say, okay, it's going up, I want to buy, or it's going lower, I just want to sell. You have to have some type of framework or narrative that's going to allow you to take the trade, because that's very, very important. If you're just looking at it as I see it going up, you really have no basis for taking a trade other than you believe it's doing one thing versus it showing support that it is doing something. Now, I just want to make sure, I don't think we're going to have any problems with the time element. Again, remember where it's closed from yesterday, which would be this price right here. I don't think that we're going to have any problems with where we are currently. So yeah, we closed there. Notice how we hit exactly where we closed the other day, yesterday. So I find that actually to be very interesting as well. Notice where that is. And you know, as long as we're not coming down and hitting within, like, you know, I would say 30 or less, like as long as we're not down there pretty much, then we don't have to wait. But yep, that's pretty much what we're looking for. Again, I would like to not see this get hit yet. I kind of would like to see it kind of stay here, drop down, and then offer something to go higher. But not that one, not that one either. But we'll see kind of what we get with price action, because I don't know, I would like to see it not hit this yet, like not even at 9:30. Or if it comes up, I would like to see it kind of do something like this. If it does come up, kind of falls short here, run people out, then do something like this. That's what I would like to see if it's going to trade up there. I like to see it fail, so people think that it is a failure swing. We're going to trade lower, you know, run some people out that were in a little bit earlier. Then here would be the breaker setup, and then buying to hit up to there, ultimately targeting up there. That's what I would like to see in this trade, something like that. Again, we need to see price overlapping. Well, in the 15-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, we also see this inverse gap here as well. We traded above that. Look at the bodies, respected that. Also, we have an inverse fair value gap there as well. And then here we have a reclaim fair value gap. So again, I'm noticing where it's all stacking, where it's being held in the upper portion. So I do like that. We also have pretty much similar support in ES as well. Again, trading higher, trading higher. That's what we want to see in our trades. That gives us a little bit more confidence in direction and what we're looking for. But I would like to see this hold. Wouldn't necessarily want to see it come all the way down here, but it can. But then it'd have to show some real, like, strength and movement away. Because if it comes down here as holding down here, or comes down here and it expands and expands below, then I'm probably wrong on the direction for the day. How's everyone's week been so far? Gotta make sure I'm staying hydrated. But we've had a tough week in terms of trading. I wouldn't say tough because it wasn't really tough, but on Monday, on Monday we ended up taking a loss. Tuesday there was no trade. We had the direction, just was there was no trade for us. On Wednesday we took a trade, ended up losing. Again, right direction, just wrong time, and it ended up being a little bit high resistance as well, just the way that it was panning out. So, and then yesterday we didn't do anything, and then we're pretty much here today. So, it's been a good learning week for me, and just thankful for the opportunity just to be able to do this. Because it's like I used to pray to be able to learn to trade and also be able to be consistent. And this comes with the process of becoming a consistent trader. You don't always win There are days you lose, there are weeks you may lose, there could be a month where you have a losing month. But it doesn't change the process, and that's what I'm like very proud of myself for. Is the process for me hasn't changed just because I've lost 2 trades in a row. It doesn't do that for me. It used to, where I believed it didn't work, and then I would throw everything else out the window when I had something in my hands that worked. But definitely not to this extent where I was confident in taking trades, or kind of had ideas of where I would like to see price move from. Oh, I'm glad to see that your week has been good. What was one thing that I guess made your week good? How did I develop the consistency? Um, for me, I guess it was sitting down and really understanding what does it take to become, and for me it was a profitable trader, or a trader that could be consistent in the markets. I had to dive deep in myself and see what are the things I'm doing wrong. Because there are a lot of people out there that are consistent, that are able to be that type of trader. So it's like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to fix? What about me is prohibiting me from being able to be consistent? And so, I mean, that came with a lot of prayer, and also asking God, like, for what do I need? Can you please help me? Because I've tried to fix it before, and it didn't really last that long. Like, I could do it for a week. I've been doing this same system, the same thing, for about 3 or 4 months now. It's the longest time I've ever been able to be consistent with anything in trading related. I was always good with working out. I was always good with eating. That was all fine. But it was trading where I would see my biggest downfall and pitfall. And so I was asking God for help. And then when I get the help, listen to what's necessary. So, yeah, there's certain things like in trading where it's like, for me, I can only take one trade. Why is that beneficial for me? Because I had a hard time taking losses. I didn't want to go with a loss. So if I could try to fix it right away, I'd be okay. And I would always end up making it worse. So I'm okay with taking losses now. It may not feel the greatest, but I'm okay with that. I can sit and trade the next time, not thinking about the last trade. That's my specific reason for that. And there may be other people that don't. They can take 3 or 4 trades and be completely fine. But for me, that was something that I know that was prohibiting me from becoming a consistent trader. It was fear. Now I don't fear this at all. It either happens or it doesn't. And I move on. It doesn't destroy my whole day, because that's what it used to do as well. So it used to kind of control me in terms of my moods and how I would present myself. And that's just the wrong way to have candlesticks on a chart control the way that you handle yourself throughout the day. So again, that was something that was specific to me. So in terms of just being consistent, you just have to figure out, like, with what are you struggling with personally, and then I would then ask for God to show you. And when he shows you, and that could be it could be a YouTube video you watch, or it could be God actually speaking to you, or it could be someone that you know that says something about the thing that you're struggling with. And when that time comes, you listen regardless to what you're feeling currently. I think that's also the thing, because as we had talked about, I think on Monday, when I lost a trade, I saw the next trade and I wanted to press the button, and it would have worked out. It would have. I would have erased half, if not more, of the loss that I just took. But I'm not there yet, right? That's a step along the road where I'll get to that point, because that's not in my trading plan right now. So I don't want to make it up right now just because I see the trade happening and I can do that. Because what if it didn't work out? Now I didn't follow my rules. Now if that's in my rules where I can take 2 trades, well then there's nothing. I'm not breaking anything. But currently right now I would have been breaking my rules, and I don't want that. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but I hope it did. If it didn't, I can try to answer it again. Again, this order block, I like this one. We have kind of used it on the 15-minute chart, so put that on there. So again, I do like that. Again, what I'm looking for is energy in trades. I don't want to see it stall too much or take a while. Okay. I'm glad I was able to answer your question. I hope I didn't ramble too much about other things. But yeah, in trades, I need to see speed, excitement. I don't want to see lethargic. Like in my trades, like I was telling myself, because I was kind of doing this beforehand, so I didn't have to do it now. So I could, I guess, talk about other things. But I saw this breaker that overlapped with this 5-minute order block, and it overlapped with this 15-minute order block. Like there's a lot of things overlapping, and I was like, okay, this area with that fair value gap, I would negate this wick, but this breaker here at extended in time, this would be a position where I'd want to buy if it was the right time. So again, the time element had to be after 9:30 for me. In this trade, and I'm looking at the way it's like slow grind, like this is not a trade that I want to be in. This is also telling me that it's not the right time, because it should move. Either if it's going to stop me out or go in the direction, it should be moving with speed. This is speed. This is not speed. This is slow grind. When I get into a trade, I want to see elements like this, like where it comes here and then look, it's moving away with large candles. Now again, that doesn't happen in every single trade, but that's my expectation. When I'm not seeing that, that's letting me also, that gives me an indication. So that's also something where I know that if I'm seeing price lethargically move, it's waiting for something, or it could be news, or it could just be like I'm not actually in at the right time. Because when price is allowed to move, it moves with speed. It doesn't just sit there and wait. And I also kind of got that with studying specific it was led by my mentor in terms of when I should be looking at price, because it's very, very time based. So if you're trading again outside of a time window, this is more the price action you're going to get. You're not going to get these nice, fast quick moves that run. You're going to get moves that are very slow, very lethargic. And again, I don't like trading during those times. Not at all. So, okay, just to make sure everything is right. Again, see, that's some speed. That's excitement. But again, I don't necessarily, I want to see it come down first, just a little bit. So we do have this internal range, so it'd be nice to see if we can kind of actually run this out. We may not get that because we do have this 5-minute order block. So we could do some short-term sell side, and then again targeting this buy side above. Ultimately, I want to see if we can actually get here. I believe we have CPI next week. Just make sure before. We have CPI and PPI next week, so we got some excitement. So I like to see us get up to there. Now when we get up there again, I'm thinking we could potentially run towards this, but we have to see, we run up above there. I don't necessarily know how much higher can we go. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But again, I would not like to, I'd like to kind of see us leave that. Obviously, we also left this short term, at least right now. We have 30 seconds till the market opens. But we have the short-term buy side, which also I would like to see us kind of come down here and then create a breaker or a fair value gap setup so I can start attacking this. And again, I'd only look for 50 handles. And as I told, like, even though my my target would be up to here and I would love to hold, especially if it's a day that's going to run. But that's not my framework right now. That's not my system. That's just the narrative of what I would like to see. So again, I'd like to see us come down first to trip everyone that has been in early. But again, doesn't mean that has to happen. Now we could come down here and then create a fair value gap here. I would trust that. But it'd have to see some type of speed or some type of movement away that would make me interested in that. Let's mark this out though. See that there. Down to there. And then we're gonna see like where the oops. Let's do 175. So I think we took out the buy side. I'm sure we did from here. Yes, we took out this buy side here. So this cannot be the first presented fair value gap because it's at 830. So that's not of I'm sorry, 930. That's not of interest to me. But again, we're looking for higher prices. So, you know, hopefully we can we don't just have another day where we just run. But if we do, it is what it is. Again, don't want to just see it kind of run. It can. Again, this 15-minute order block, which we labeled, came back down to it on the 1-minute chart and then now has since expanded away. So, and then look, pop through the data high. This again is speed. That's speed. So if I had bought down here, this is what you want to see in your trades. You want to see the speed. You don't want to see it just kind of sit there and not do anything. Because that's not indicating that it's very strong. And again, we might get the first presented fair value gap here at 931. Looks like we could potentially get that. Why is it doing that? There we go. So, a little bit of a pickle here. And the reason why I say that is we do have this, gap, which I believe will be the first presented fair value gap, which happens at 9:31. We have 6 seconds left. My mind is like, I want to buy this because of what I'm seeing, but again, there's really no there's no breaker setup for me there. I'd have to pretty much go down to like a 5-second or 15-second chart pretty much to find it. Interval below, and I don't think that's what I want to do. Yeah, see, look, it's just one-sided here. Nothing really, nothing really there. But again, on the 30-second chart, you see how we have these two fair value gaps. If I was in and I really saw this as a breaker, this gap right here, I'd want it to hold. I don't even want to see it trade down that deep. You see how we have two fair value gaps in a row inside? Again, this is where I would be thinking and where I'd want it to go. Yeah, again, I'm thinking higher prices, but I mean, I can't, there has to be a framework for me to get in. I can't just buy because I think it's going to go higher. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of what it is. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're right close to this buy side. I would like to see if we can have some type of framework there off of this that makes sense. Yeah, so if we can get something that kind of makes sense, that to me means a lot more. Makes a lot more sense. But yeah, if we just have where we pretty much just run and run and run. Yes, we are decoupled here, but I don't care about this. These two are kind of moving in the same direction. That's what I'd want to see here. Consolidating above here or right below a higher time frame buy side. So this first presented fair value gap, I'm liking it. I want us to trade down into it. But for me, the question is, okay, you know, where are we going to see this, you know, breaker setup kind of happen? You know, because it can happen on like a 5-second chart. It could happen on a 15-second chart, 30-second chart. I don't think it's going to happen on the I don't think it's necessarily going to happen on a 1-minute chart. But again, I have to look and see like what is the also the 5-minute chart kind of showing. Again, I wanted to buy the first presented fair value gap because I think that it is I mean, let's go back to the 1-minute chart. Look how we hit the top end of it, right? That to me is significant. Now on the 5-second chart, you'll see we do have a breaker, you know, but I kind of feel like I would be kind of forcing it. There is a volume imbalance there, but yeah, I'm thinking higher prices, but haven't seen exactly what I want yet. Notice also breaker, volume imbalance in there, but just where we are in relationship to the high. I mean, definitely can go through it, but do I think that we're gonna hit that and then go all the way up here after hitting it? We could just run straight through it, and you know, that I guess could have been the buy for today, but again, I don't necessarily think that. If I miss the opportunity, then I kind of missed the opportunity. But we may get another one, you know, because we have 40 seconds left. We would then create this fair value gap here, which I would like as well. We got to create it first, but then we also have this order block there. So then if we go to a 30-second chart, and nothing really there. 15-second chart, nothing really there either. Also, so you close this gap, so there is no fair value gap there. Yeah, looking for higher prices. That's a very, 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 very shallow run above that high. So I'm not, yeah, very, very shallow run above the high. So we'll see what we get. We have about a minute left until, yeah, we're gonna delete that. A minute left until this 5-minute fair value gap will close. No, a minute and 30 seconds left. But again, this, breaker setup a little bit deeper for where the fair value gap is, so that's why I was not, you know, necessarily willing to buy that, because I would have liked it better if it was up here. I would have bought that, put my stop loss right there, and we'll see that. But yeah, nothing really for me yet. Could just be one of those weeks where we just don't get anything. Because I want it to jump off at the chart at me. I don't necessarily really want it to let's just make this in red. Yeah, I want it to jump out at the chart. I don't want it to me having to really kind of force it in there. But I do like how we pretty much hit the top end. It would be interesting if it came down again and then did that. Now if we came down again and hit this, a run below here, that would actually run into the this 5-minute fair value gap, which would be kind of nice. And again, we want to see this one hold. I want to see this remain a breakaway gap, this lower one, so we know. I want to see this breakaway gap. Here we go. That's what I want to see remain a breakaway gap. And make sure these are on the correct intervals. Okay, yeah, so we have a 5-minute fair value gap. Can we trade down to this fair value gap? Is that possible? Because that's what I want to see us do. We may not be able to. I want to see that though. So again, look where the first presented fair value gap is in terms of the 5-minute chart. It is in the upper portion, so we like that. Yeah. I think the 15-second might be kind of cool today. Yeah, just have to see what we're gonna get. Just gotta be patient and let it come to us. Patience, patience, patience. Again, I'm not looking at this as the top and it turning. I believe we have a little bit more to do on the upside. But again, if we're unable to reach down here and we show excitement above this and we create a fair value gap above that, then I'll take it higher. You know, it has to show specific signatures, though. It can't just be yeah, it's got to show specific signatures. Then I'll be willing to, you know, take the trade. Then I would look at this on the 5-minute chart as a breakaway gap. We can kind of show this response here. We break above here aggressively with fair value gaps. Then I'm willing to take this because I believe it's going to go up here. So I can target up there. We also have, you know, new day opening gaps up there. So again, I'm looking for specific signatures to take us higher. And when I see them, I am willing to take the trade. Now this is a 15-second breaker, but I kind of want to see it happen on the 30-second or higher. So, well, it kind of aligns there. We have a high fair value gap there, but I want to see it happen on the higher time frame. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to take a trade. I'm not just gonna do that. So just gonna wait, because when it presents itself, it'll be very clear. Very, very clear. It'll move away, just like you see this, how this moved away, how that moved away, how this moved away. That's very, very clear. Very clear. When it's not clear, you don't do anything. So we've taken out some sell side here. Now again, if we now move away, after hitting this and leaving that in, then that's a clear indication that we're doing that. But we could want to come down here, which is again fine for me. But if it doesn't do that, that's also it's giving me indication. I think that's a stop run. Like that's my personal opinion, because I'm looking at ES. I don't think it did the same thing. Let's go to a 1 minute chart. Look where ES is. Again, for me, ES, this is a buy. If I would, this is a buy for me, because I like where it is, what it did. Here's a fair value gap that couples with that, so that's a buy for me. So I don't just I need to wait for Nasdaq to show me a similar thing. Once Nasdaq shows me something similar, where it's now ready to go, then I'll take it. Again, I want to see it stay in the upper portion. I am watching the 1 minute chart as well, so also the other time frames, because I want it to let me know when it's time to take a trade. Because if I'm starting to see the elements, then I'll take the trade. But until then, just gonna wait. We're also inside the first presented fair value gap from Wednesday, January 22nd. So that's kind of where the bodies are being held right now. And yeah. So this has been hit. Let's just turn this gray. So that's been hit again. So the data high has been hit. So hopefully this is now time to go. And if we see again, creating of a fair value gap over this high, I would be willing to take that, because we're seeing the same in ES. So ES now looks like it's kind of ready to go as well. And if this pushes up above, we'd be getting the same signature and ready to go. It'd mean that this 5 minutes fair value gap would probably remain a breakaway gap if we are starting to see some movement away. What I would actually rather see, because I like this candle, if we come down here and then run and then go above this candle, that's some good stuff right there. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to do the specific signature that I'm looking for. That's all I'm doing, is waiting for that. When that shows itself, then I'm able to do something. So ES is trading higher. Dow is now starting to get on point. This will eventually, start to release itself. You just have to wait. There is technically news at 10 o'clock, but it's nothing nothing to be really worried about that. I'm just waiting for it to show the speed and excitement to go higher, and then I'm ready. I've been ready. So like, we can trade above this candle here. I have to see, because we create two fair value gaps, then I have to go on a higher time frame to see kind of pretty much what should I be expecting. But pretty much there, create a fair value gap above here, we show some excitement away, or if we even use this candle, we trade down into this candle and then use it, or we don't even use it at all and trade above there, then we create a fair value gap, then I can expect this breaker setup to form there. All hypotheticals. So again, I want to see if this is truly time to go. This down close candle at 947 on the 30-second chart, this one right here should hold price. It shouldn't allow it to trade in the middle. This would be nice if it was left as a breakaway gap and it was expanding up above this candle or even this candle. That's what I'd want to see. Because right now we have a 5-minute order block right here. 5-minute order block. So how are we expecting it? How are we responding to it? Like, I know it's gonna go higher. I'm not worried about that. It's just the time element. I have to wait for it. We're about to start the macro soon at 9:50, which has started, or 9:51 pretty much already started. So I am looking at it on a 1-minute chart as well, because I had the maybe three weeks ago, I tried entering on a time frame lower than the 1-minute chart, and I had not let it set up yet, so I got stopped out. And if I would have waited for the time for it to validate itself, there wouldn't have been a single trade, so I wouldn't have taken the loss. So that's what I'm also practicing here as well. Like, it needs to show movement, and I'm ready. But if it doesn't show movement away, then there's nothing. It's lagging. It's okay. Other ones are expanding away. Nasdaq is holding. It's okay. It'll catch up at some point. It'll let us know. Hopefully it doesn't just run and run and run, after. But if it does, then that's what it does. Like, it should start happening soon. I mean, ES is expanding. This is kind of holding. So Dow is now trying to trade higher. Let's show that a little bit. Oops, this one. Look at ES, continues to push. Dow is starting to push. And Nasdaq is kind of just sitting there. So I'm expecting this to start kind of moving a little bit. But I need to wait. This is a consolidation after they kind of expand. It's consolidating a little bit. But we should start to see some follow through. So right now it's not really leaving these gaps like I would want to be seen in my trades, at least beforehand. Might just have a little bit more chopping around to do before it's ready. We also have 5 minutes until the 15-minute candle closes. Why does this look weird right now? Oh, because it's an hourly can. I'm like, yo, doesn't look anything like the other ones. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, we have a 15-minute fair value gap here, which then would be in alignment with this 5-minute one. So there'd be a lot of overlapping here. So I actually would like to kind of see it kind of hold a little bit, then come down and do what it needs to do, because then that would overlap with a 5-minute fair value gap, a 15-minute fair value gap. A lot of things would be kind of aligned there. So we have about 4 minutes left. So Dow is now just expanding higher. Again, this is the first presented fair value gap. Just want to make sure this is in the front. Okay, so we hit it again. So we hit into the 5-minute fair value gap. Let's see once we do in there. Do we show the willingness to stay above and even in this upper portion? Do we show that, or are we kind of coming down here? Because if we're not able to even close in this lower portion, let alone trade down there, and we inverse this and we start to show higher, prices moving higher, that is a good indication for us that we're on the right side, and we should expect more expansion to the upside. Again, the more that it stays in the upper portion of that, the better the trade is for me personally. Okay, so we traded down there. I mean, it's a 30-second chart, but we did trade down into that. This is, I would like to see it remain open, but it doesn't mean that it has to. Right? These colors, man, kind of blinding me. It's a pretty hefty rejection there. But again, we're looking at the bodies, where the body's closing on the 1-minute chart. Let's go back to that just so we can see that. No, unable to complete the 15-minute. I'm at the 5-minute. Left it open a little bit. This one we also left it open. I like how deep we traded down into that. If I do say so myself, I don't like how deep that traded into it. But we do have the 10 o'clock hour. Yeah, for me, I'm looking at this like, okay, this could potentially be, oops, it just looks, potentially be a breaker. You have that there, and then potentially trading higher, but I'm not, I ain't touching that yet. Need to see a little bit more there. Again, I'm not looking for sales today, so even if this goes lower, that's not something I'm specifically looking for. I think this looked better behind. Yeah. So that's the first presented for value gap. Again, we want to see some reaction, occurring and happening there. We're not necessarily seeing that right now. Like this 5-minute for bullish order block got traded through. I don't think this is telling us that we're going lower. I just think it was just a deeper retracement from everyone trying to be in up here. And when watching the bodies, where the body's closing, especially in the 15-minute or the 5-minute fair value gap. So now we have this, I think there's a fair value gap there. Look at that. Wow. So pretty much 10 o'clock, I didn't think that news was that important, but I guess it was. Yeah, no, that's cap. Consumer sentiment, orange folder. Yeah, no shot. So pretty much ran out. We took out the buy side, took out the sell side, ran that out. So I'm very interested to actually see what happens here. We have SMT again to the upside. ES did not do that. NQ did do that. And now what are we going to get here? Yeah, consumer sentiment doing that type of price action. That's what they call manual intervention. There's no way that does that. No shot. Yeah, consumer sentiment, orange folder news. No shot. That's what you call manual intervention. Them just messing with the charts and price. So might have to wait a lot longer. And I'll probably see if there's anything around. The latest I'm probably gonna stay is going to be 11. But yeah, I'm not. So pretty much about an hour or so. I do like the way we kind of left that. So we'll see if there's anything that shows us that price wants to go higher, or it may not want to today. Let's get this stuff back in the screen. Let's go on the daily chart. Ran above that high slightly, and then now I've ran back down. Now we do have a imbalance right below a daily imbalance, like right here with this breaker. We do have that. Again, I would not be expecting that, but can do whatever it wants, I'm gonna go back to a 1-minute chart on this one. So yeah, the first presented fair value gap is right there. The 5-minute gap got pretty much, ran through. Didn't hold any or show any support at all. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people, that 10 o'clock news, if they didn't wait and they were in before and they were buying, I'm sure they got wrecked. Because that's a very, very, it's just running. That's a very, very deep retracement. Now, it could just come down here and then start to go up higher. It could do that, or it may not do that at all. It may, run down in there and then kind of trade in the range. It can do whatever. But for me, there was literally no short up here. Nothing for me. So now there's no more SMT in terms of the lows on the data lows on pretty much all three. They took out their data high first and then took out the data low as well. Did we trade into? I don't think we traded into, because the daily, fair value gap happens pretty much below this low. Thursday at 7 o'clock, we traded back down to the contour encroachment of this daily gap. So we may or may not get anything today. Again, this would be the daily daily fair value gap. We'll just label it as sell side, but that's where the daily fair value gap is. So we're in very close proximity to it. It wouldn't faze me if they kind of run down there and do that. And that's a crazy, crazy, crazy deep retracement. So this now turns into inverse as of right now. On the M5. But again, I'm not necessarily looking for lower prices. I think this was just really a deep run to get everyone out who was in before, because that's a very shallow run to be doing that. Like, I understand if it went up here, went close, and then kind of rejected and went below. I could see that. Because we have this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I guess you could be looking for a TGIF scenario, I guess, but I don't know if that's what I would have been looking for. Because we did trade up. Monday was the low of the week. So you could have that type of understanding, but again, there was no short setup for me. There was nothing there that I would even have been looking at anyways for that to occur. Yeah, I would be like, even for me, kind of just very cautious. Honestly, with this down close candle, these two kind of running up, I need to see like another one, and then I would try to attack up here. If that can happen before 11. I'd be okay with waiting for a little bit more. Because we're right. We did hit December 24. The regular trading hour and electronic trading hour new day opening gap. We did hit that. But we have a daily fair value gap right below us. So I'd be more inclined that it may want to trade down there before trading up higher. Now, just my thought process in terms of how much more time we have in the day. We could get all the way up here. I don't think so. just knowing that it's, it's 10 o'clock. I don't know if we'll get all the way up here. I think maybe we could get another run above this buy side, but I don't know if we're going to make it all the way up there. Again, it could be something for PPI. We'll take the data. We'll just leave the data high on this one. Oh wait, no, it's on this one. So it's kind of what we're looking at, and I guess if it ends up trading lower and kind of goes lower, then that's what happens today. Why is my PC doing that? It's like it's working very hard, and I haven't really done anything else. Patience, young one. Yep. Just waiting. Yeah, consumer sentiment. Like, go back and look at any consumer sentiment. This is not it. Not at all. I will wait though to see if what I'm looking for can occur. If it doesn't occur, then it just doesn't do it. Almost there. Okay, so now we've hit the daily imbalance here. Oops. Here. That's what we just currently hit. Inside here, it's there to there. So we hit that right now. So are we able to show any move away from that? Do we kind of sit down there? Do we just run through it? Are we going deeper? That's essentially what I'm looking for, because I know that's what we hit. Could just be a TGIF scenario where, we just melt all day. And again, I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with missing a trade. I'm okay with, going home with this week and doing my review with 2 losses. That's okay. There's a lot of year left. A lot of year. If I was very confident in this trade, I like that one. But you can hear me, I'm not confident in that. But this would be the one I'd be looking at. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this off for right now. We also hit the Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, first presented fair value gap. It's also what we hit. I think we definitely ran across that. We just raked everything. Yep. Again, to me, this just looks like a, as ICT would call it, this right here. It's too clean. It just, like I look at this, and maybe they're saving it, which they could. I would usually always have it in like blue. I think I'd put it always in blue. That to me, this is like so clean. Like beyond clean. But we did close below that low. But again, I'm not confident in this trading lower. But, you know, if we hold this, that would be, you know, of significance to me. Also have like, but yeah, I want to see this actually get traded above. And if we can run up to here, like I'll take this trade actually. But it has to show like actual movement running away. We'd have a up close candle trading down into sell side, but also trading down to a daily fair value gap. I would take this if it can create a fair value gap here, and I would target up here. But I don't think I need to get it that high. It would just need to get to like right there. If it can do that, yeah. So again, that's what I'd be looking for. But again, we may not even get that today. It may just keep going lower and lower and lower. I have till 11 o'clock. I'm not really interested in sells. But again, it is Friday. Potential TGIF. This to me would be the cleanest TGIF trade there. But again, I'm trading down into a daily volume imbalance. I don't know how I feel about that. Not necessarily confident enough because it'd have to go pretty much there, which it may do. But that's pretty much where it'd have to go for it to be a viable trade for me. Which it may do. I mean, we didn't close in this gap, which would say is fairly significant, but and I'm just not interested in that today. And I'm okay with that. So we're seeing a little bit of excitement here. Very little. But again, I would like this one more a little bit because it is a 5-minute order block. So that's why I would like this one more. Even if this creates a fair value gap and trades down into it, that to me would be okay. That's the first sign that I could potentially seeing a switch, and then that's kind of how I would look at it. Could be a stop run. trade lower, but because we traded up into this 5-minute order block. But that's why for me, if I'm actually looking to buy today, it needs to go up above these two because of this order block. I like for it to kind of expand above and close. Then that gives me a better chance or likelihood of it actually trying to reach up there and take that out. Because this could have just all been like heavy manipulation, and then we just, trade up higher. Like we could literally come all the way down here, and then this whole 15-minute candle overlaps all of this. That is possible. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? Leave this open, which is what I would like to see more. And yeah, we can take these things off, by the way. Don't need those. So we trade up into the opening price of the 5-minute order block. We could still see some bearishness here. That's okay. It'll just be a no trade day for me. Because it's not really showing like the bullish runs right now, at least on the 1-minute chart. They're very short-lived. They're not really showing a lot of excitement. But again, the criteria for me would be that we go above this one, create some fair value, like large ranges above this one, come down into it. Then I'd be willing to take it up and look for 50 handles. But that's about it. Just put this on the other side. I mean, that doesn't really matter at this point. I'm watching this. Where the body's closing. Do we see excitement? Are we running away? Are we holding? Are we able to consistently move away with some speed? Or are we kind of just hanging out? I mean, that's one deep retracement. I will tell you that. Very deep retracement. And it wouldn't surprise me, again, it wouldn't surprise me if we come back up here and like we just overlap this entire range and come up into that. Now again, I do have to be careful. Again, kind of trading, after 10:30. Again, I want to see specific signatures. If I'm not seeing them, then I'll just walk away. Look how like it's struggling a lot to be moving higher right now. It needs to, we need to see a little bit more. Because right now I would not be very comfortable with taking a short, because it's running up higher, comes down, respected that, going up a little bit higher. I mean, we do have this gap right here, but like that's again pretty deep inside of this 5-minute order block. I do see this gap up here again, but if we're extremely bearish, it shouldn't even it shouldn't do that. Again, if we slow grind and we don't even create a fair value up over here, I'm not interested in that, even if it works out. I need to see some speed, excitement. Kind of lethargic here. And yeah, just the way that even this price action kind of looks right now, it needs to, start showing some speed. So that could be immediate rebalance on the 5-minute chart, even though it's not a large range, but it could be. Again, we're starting to see some signatures. I understand we're in a discount, and if we're trading back up to a premium, that's what you would kind of expect. But we are seeing some of the signatures and signs that we'd want to see if we're looking for price to trade higher. But again, it's not looking very strong. Because I would expect after it hits a daily level for it to, kind of move away with some speed. We took sell side, trading into a daily level. I'd want to see some speed from there. Not just a slow grind higher, because that's pretty much what we're watching right now. We are watching paint dry. Again, excitement over this candle. Speed, a large range. Not these little itty bitty candles. Because if it's doing that, my whole trade idea is negated, and I'm just not interested in that because it's just slow grinding. And even if it goes all the way up here, again, there's really nothing for me to do. We have 1 minute left until a new 15-minute candle is created, which would then create a 15-minute fair value gap as well, coupled up with a 5-minute fair value gap to the downside, which is, in my opinion, it could be potentially a little bit more bearish. Just the way that I learn and how, pretty much the way that I've learned to read the market. They would be stacking in the lower portion, and then you'd have to see evidence of that. But the fact that the sell side on the 15-minute chart kind of went down there, I'd be amazed to see what the 1 hour chart looks like. Yeah, look at the 1 hour chart. That's a pretty sizable, we'll say wick, but you know, anything can happen in, you know, 30 minutes. So, yeah. Again, it's looking very, very weak, in my opinion. Because look how small, look how small the, I'll say the light blue candles are. Look how large the down close candles or the darker blue candles are. A lot more bigger. They're bigger than the up close candles. So I'd be interested to see what do we get here after responding, after hitting this order block here in that fair value gap. I'd be very interested to see what do we get there. Because if we trade below this low again, I think I'll pretty much, you know, turn the stream off. Because I don't think I'd be as, pretty much as interested in, you know, interested in it once it gets below there. I do understand and do see that that if I do buy and it creates excitement and runs up above there, that I am trading into a 15-minute fair value gap as well as a 5-minute. Yeah, pretty much have like 30 minutes. I think as a trade setup could happen over the lunch hour, or it could happen in the PM session. I'm just really not that interested. I'm okay with closing the week with how it did. And I'll look next week. Yesterday there, I mean, technically was a setup. It was ugly, but it was there, but I would have never taken it, so. But yes, this looks very heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Because I would have expected it to already kind of be moving away. And it is just kind of sitting there. Again, could just be on the wrong side. That's fine. But nothing here interests me in a short. Nothing. Again, this would be one of those days where my patience serves me well. And yeah, just waiting. Because nothing above there told me to take a long. Nothing nothing down here yet has told me to take a long. Nothing down here has told me to take a short. Nothing up there told me to take a short. So maybe a day where I just do nothing. Yeah, it's just spending a lot of time in this gap, which is kind of letting me know that most likely gonna come down there. Spending too much time in that gap. should be moving away. Again, we have about 26 minutes. See if anything occurs, anything kind of sets up. If not, then just close up shop. See, look how, so we do have SMT there, where ES was not able to take that out. So we have that there, and NQ is right there. So we do have a little bit of SMT there. Again, I'm not going to be waiting all day for a trade setup to occur if it does or doesn't. I'm just giving myself a time stop to pretty much 11, and if that doesn't occur, then nothing happens here. So again, we want to see large range candles, like in comparison to everything else. Like this isn't very large compared to all of these other ones. We have this large candle here, but that's to the downside. This order block right now has held price, but we're just seeing creeping. Again, we haven't seen excitement. Like, it's like, hey, pay attention. None of that. Let me put a line there just so I know where the 15-minute fair value gap is. Let's make that purple. Because what you don't want is it to run up above there and then to reject. Because then that's another indication that we're probably gonna go lower. But we may have something occurring here. Again, I want to see a fair value gap get created above this candle. And like not a little bitty one. If it does that, I'm not interested because I know what we're trading into. So it needs to hold its strength. Because pretty much if it overlaps it and closes it, I mean, probably have zero interest there. Not probably, I don't have any interest in that, in seeing that. Just have to wait. Yeah, I don't like what it's doing. You see that little itty bitty fair value gap? I ain't buying that. I'm not buying it. Yeah, not buying that. Because there's a gap right there. It'd be a buy right now, but I don't like that itty bitty one. It could still go up higher. I would have much rather preferred if it was bigger and overlapping this a little bit more. I don't like how small that is. I don't like that. It's not a. And even down here, if I'm like, oh, look at this one, you have this one, but then I'm looking, we're trading into a 5-minute fair value gap and a 15-minute fair value gap. Like, this got to be way bigger than that, and it's not. That's why I have no interest in taking that one. That's like, yeah. That's showing a lot of weakness right there. Again, we have like what, 20 minutes left? Yeah, excitement above this one. It's the wrong thing. If we show excitement above this one, create a gap, and then I'll be interested in that. I'd probably use like maybe one. But that's just looking kind of heavy. I mean, that's a nice reaction, don't get me wrong, but I would have never taken that trade because it's not overlapping anything for me. So that would be like a no-go for me. Because we have 3 minutes left. Like, imagine we create a fair value gap up here. 3 minutes, the 5-minute chart closes above this wick, this down close candle, and then trades down into this. I would be more willing to take a trade than this wick. You see how like it didn't really close above anything, so there's nothing for me to take down here. So yeah, I mean, it has to happen pretty much at the before the macro or at the macro. That's pretty much it. Anything else is just a no-go. Earlier in my trading, I would have taken this trade. Even if it works out or it doesn't, I would have taken this trade because it's a breaker. One, high, low, higher, high, fair value gap. But because of what I explained to you, I know what I'm trading up into. So like this to me is not high probability unless it shows different characteristics, which it's not showing right now. Again, it's like watching paint dry right now. But yeah, those wicks trading into that 5-minute fair value gap, also with the 15-minute fair value gap. It's yeah, that's why I did not buy that. I ain't buying it. I think it's just a stop run, and we'll be looking to trade lower. And even this, like, even if I wanted to take a trade setup here, there is nothing for me up here. Maybe if I go to like a 15-second chart, not even. Yeah, not even there either. Yeah, there's nothing there for me. I know what I'm looking for, at least on the upside, if I want to see if that's going to occur. I know what I'm looking to see. But even on the downside, I mean, for me, downside, I have to get below here, this low, We do have this down here, and then obviously that low, but this is not enough distance. Like, it's not enough distance for me. Now, you know, having this, again, has to form, but then that, you see how, like, what I mean, like if we create a fair value gap there, below there, because that would be a 5-minute order block in combination. But again, look what we're getting. I'm really interested to see where the day will close. Higher or lower? Higher we go. Say the new 15-minute candle open up. See that large wick above? I'm expecting us to actually trade softer based off of what I'm looking at on all of them. Expecting us to trade softer and take out this low, but there's nothing there for me. I don't need to squeeze anything in. Okay, we have about, 15 minutes left. Okay, there's some interesting excitement there, but can we continue it? Every time we do that, we go up, and then we're met with immediate, I don't want to say backlash, but immediate, like, back down. So can we show this excitement to go up higher and trade above? This one, I like that one. Also because of where it's located with the new day opening gap. It's at the high end of it. Even if we look at, yeah, we're at the bottom of the new week opening gap from January 26th. We're at the bottom of that. So can we, get above that pretty much and create a large gap over this candle? And it has to happen before 11. If it doesn't do that, then even if it happens, and let's say it's 11:01 or 11:02, and then we trade down into it, that's a missed opportunity for me. I'm not interested in that, and I'm okay. See, every time we're met with these large range candles going up, we come right back down. So about 12 minutes left. Probably not going to get a trade based off what, kind of what I'm seeing already, but you never know. Could surprise with a nice bold bullish candle. Again, this is the whole like Pictionary thing, right? When I'm not trying to guess. I don't want to be guessing and hoping that it does one thing or another. Either it's gonna do it or it's not. So we have about 1 minute until, or 20 seconds until the 10:50 macro starts. So we'll see if we get some spooling here. Either direction is fine. Let's see if we get some spooling and some movement with that macro. Lets us know a little bit more. Yep, just patient. Was machst du, Bruder? Come on. Los geht's. Let's go. Let's do something. This is one of those moments where you're like trying to, you like got a stick and like, you know, you're a little kid. I think I've said this before, where you're like poking it and like, hey, let's do something. That's kind of how I feel right now. Let's do something. Again, overlapped it. Yeah, short. Like everything bullish, unless it creates like a massive fair value gap here, everything that is bullish is very, very short run and then overlapped. It goes up and then it overlaps. It looks like it's struggling to move higher. That's what's going on in my head internally when I'm looking at this price action right now. Looks like it's just struggling. And yeah, we have 9 minutes. But yeah, I'd be very interested to see. I believe that we potentially may want to come back up here. I would say that this is a stop run down here. This just ruined everyone who was trying to go long. Take their stops and then come up here. That's what my mind is telling me based off of what I'm looking at and how shallow that run was. So shallow, very, very shallow. So again, need to create a fair value gap there. But notice how we go above a high and then we come back down. We go deep down and then we go back above a high. So it's, yeah. That's just the PA that we're getting today. Every day can't be clean. Unless everyone would be making money. Yeah, look how small that gap is going to be. I think it's going to go higher. But this fair value gap is too small. Like, way too. And it's even if it even forms. This gap, yeah, didn't even form. Didn't form. Look at that. Flipped. Looks like we'll take out that sell side. There we go. But yeah, for me, nothing told me to take a short, other than what I explained to you in the lower portion of that. But then there's no setup. There was nothing here for me to actually take a short off of. So that's pretty much going to end it, because I'm not going to sit here. I mean, there's 7 minutes left. I'm not going to sit here and do whatever. There's just no trade today for me. Either side, there would have been nothing there. I would have had to pretty much turtle soup this, which is what I don't trade. So, yeah, thank you everyone who stayed and watched. I will see you guys, I believe, next Wednesday. Let me just Oops, I don't know what that's about to pull up. I believe next Wednesday, just looking at the economic calendar. Yeah, next Wednesday, because they just added that in there. They had Powell testifying on Tuesday. I'm not gonna be doing that. But yeah, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and God bless you.